Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but everything is still going wrong? You're standing in the middle of a story where the pages are blank and the ending is nowhere inside. It's called the anxiety of the unknown. It's that heavy weight in your chest when you've left your past behind, but the future feels like a dark room you're forced to walk through blindfolded. 3,000 years ago, a woman named Ruth stood exactly where you are. She had lost her husband, her home, and her security. She was walking toward a land she'd never seen to serve a God she had only just met. Welcome back to Faith Stories for the Heart. Today we aren't just telling a story about a girl who found a husband. We're telling the story of how she found the courage to keep walking when she couldn't see the end. And if you feel lost in the middle of your own story today, this is for you. What do you do when you finally gather the courage to step out in faith, but instead of walking into your promise, you walk straight into a waiting room? We often celebrate the bold leaps, but we rarely talk about the agonizing silence that follows when you've made a move for God, but the reward hasn't arrived. The what ifs starts to whisper. You see, the story of Ruth is a raw masterclass blueprint on the silent courage it takes to pack up your entire life and walk blind into a foreign land without a map. We love to talk about Ruth's loyalty to Naomi, but we completely ignore her fear. Ruth was a grieving widow. She was leaving her entire culture, her family, her comfort zone for a country that didn't like her, to serve a God she barely knew. For so many of us, the unknown is scarier than the unhappy. We stay in toxic places or dead situations because the familiar pain feels safer than an unfamiliar future. But Ruth chose the unknown. Why? Because she realized it is better to trust the character of the provider in the dark than to cling to the comfort of a past that is already dead. But notice what happens next. Ruth didn't step across the border and instantly walk into a palace. She walked straight into a dusty field to bend her back and pick up leftovers. She went from a bold spiritual decision to picking up scraps. And this is exactly where most people quit. We mistake the small hard work for God's abandonment. But listen to me. Faithfulness in the scraps is precisely what qualifies you for the harvest. God is often doing His deepest work in your life when your days feel the most painfully repetitive. The scripture lets us in on a beautiful secret. It says, Ruth just so happened to find ourselves walking in a field belonging to Boaz. Think about that. What the world calls luck or coincidence, the believer knows as providence. Ruth didn't have a GPS. She didn't build a strategic networking plan. She just kept showing up to work. You don't need to manipulate your way into the palace. You don't even need to see the whole path. You just need to have the integrity to stay faithful in the right field and let the unseen hand guide the rest. If you feel invisible today, if you're sweating in a field that feels beneath your purpose, hear the Father's heart. You're not forgotten. Your labor is not in vain, and your current coordinates are not an accident. The owner of the harvest already has his eyes on you. If you're ready to anchor your soul in his timing, I want you to claim it right now. Go to the comments and type, I am in the right field. Let's drop the weight of the what if and trust the one who holds the map. Until next time, leave a little kindness wherever you go. It always finds its way back.